Lord, SKN in a serious dilemma. Now that the country been run by labor, it's pure mayhem, scandal, disorder. With this Labour Party in power, is this a social club in disguise? Or some kind of criminal enterprise? What a menace to society this administration turning out to be. The PM got a so-called advisor, telling people how to get away with murder. It's non-stop attack on the treasury with paper daddy and man big sorry. This Labour bunch shot to the core, lacking integrity, that's for sure. Economy stalled, hard life crippling, we a collective menace, menace to society. It's like it's all cheap and no India. It's like lunatics running the asylum without a plan, ideas or structure. It's the people who left to suffer. No pop, no peace, bare unemployment. No money for bills, much less enjoyment. Total advantage, that's we fake under these enemies of the state. AAG, delicate lawyer, he really a pamper playing Labour turn politician now for sure. Going from door to door in number 4, law and order not a priority. No one in charge of the nation's safety. DAD join the cult and the greedy. He just a menace to society. Government buildings, well them the worst. We infrastructure seem like it costs. Electricity and water walk with the moon. Every month you hear the fix coming soon. Under Labour life for this pure misery. Oppression, depression and tyranny. This gang is a menace to society. Life in SKN, this ain't no joke. Like the whole country going up in smoke. While Mr. Smiley and 10 money one busy fighting, jockeying for position. Lord have mercy upon all of we with this menace to society.
Good evening and Happy New Year. I am your host, Azard Gumbs, Deputy Political Leader of the People's Action Movement and candidate for PAM for St. Christopher number 4. With me is Kyle Flanders. And this evening we're going to talk about the 2026 budget deficit. Tonight, we are going to talk about something that affects every household in this country. The 2026 budget deficit. The government plans to spend over $1 billion this year, and it does not expect to earn anywhere near that amount. The gap is about $200 million. That is what we call a deficit. And the key question tonight is simple. Who pays and when? So, Kyle, the topic this evening is the 2026 budget deficit. And Dr. Drew, since he has taken office, we've seen that this is his third deficit. And deficit basically means when for those who are listening who might not be aware, when the expenditure is more than the revenue generated in the country. When you listen to Dr. Drew's presentation in the House of Assembly, what was your thoughts when he has the debates going on?
All right. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome back. As I was sitting there listening to the budget debate, I was just filled with despair, really and truly, because that budget didn't give me any hope that my nation will be going forward. It didn't give me any hope of any good things or good times coming towards St. Kitts Nevis. It just made me realize that Labour is in office, because you realize Labour has a history of being fiscally irresponsible. It was Douglas who took us to the IMF. Douglas. So that's their history. Deficit spending. And the problem is you cannot see anything that would warrant that kind of spending. So I wasn't surprised at the end of the day, because it's Labour. The economics and them are miles apart.
In fact, Dr. Drew's record as Minister of Finance speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm.
Deficits, debt, and disappointment. That is the record that he has left as Minister of Finance. And so the country at this point in time, and I think it's important, we have our budget debates in December, and shortly after, we have carnival, and so everything gets lost.
Yeah.
But it's important as we go through this year, 2026, we recognize that the administration led by Dr. Drew is an administration that is spending more than it earns. He has set a budget whereby the expenditure for this year far exceeds the revenues generated. And the gap is unaccounted for. Almost $200 million gap.
And it's not the first time, because if you go and look at the 2024 audit report, you will see that there was a deficit in the past. There's bound to be one last year. When it comes out next year, you can see it was one last year, and then now 2026 there's going to be another deficit. And so I know, like you said, Christmas came, everybody in the festive mood and whatnot. So let us not rest on our laurels, because let's get back to business. It's a very serious year, serious time. A serious decision is afoot. And these people, the Labour government, they are not good stalwarts of an economy. They are not that good of it. I'm so happy that Sean was able to point out all of the flaws in their budget and show that no, this can't do. We can't be having 3 years worth of deficit, because, like the IMF said, if we continue down this road, what's going to happen? We're going to reach 70% debt to GDP ratio. Right? So we're saying that if we make the whatever our GDP is, 7% of that is the size of our debt.
Because if you look at it, and it says here, when you look at the total allocation, we have the total recurrent expenditure at EC, 879.8 million. You have the total capital expenditure at EC, 166.99 million. If you look at the breakdown for the ministries, the Ministry of Finance gets 289.5 million. Education gets 108.3 million. National Security EC, 84.1 million. Health and Social Security, 83.8 million. The Prime Minister's Office, 69.3 million. Tourism, Civil Aviation, International Transport, EC, 53.2 million. These 6 ministries alone consume a significant portion of the recurrent expenditure. So you look at it, and this government is incurring deficit after deficit. And one would understand, because sometimes deficits might not be a bad thing.
No. Sometimes deficit spending is necessary. Yeah.
Exactly, it's necessary. But it depends on what you're spending on. If you look at it, we have not had a natural disaster. If it was a situation where we had a natural disaster and we had to put in monies that were not allocated for.
Now you see, the recurrent expenditure is high. I am not surprised, because we all know what they did shortly after they got in office. They went and increased their salary. And understand that recurrent expenditure includes salaries, allowances, so all those trips where they try to push aside and that kind of thing, all that is in recurrent expenditure. All the per diem, all the salaries, everything. That's part of recurrent expenditure. All the buildings that they're renting left, right, and center, all the utilities, all of that in.
It's basically the administrative costs. So the recurrent expenditure is the money that they take to keep the government afloat in terms of the salaries, in terms of the administration. So basically, that doesn't help when you look at the agriculture sector, making sure that the cost of living is reduced. Persons are feeling it. Most of the money going back into salary and administrative use.
And you heard about all the advisors that this man has, the Prime Minister. All the money going to them people. Because you realize that the most important part to me of the budget is the capital expenditure.
Yes.
Because that says that, we're investing in the country. Because by the very definition, when you invest, you expect returns later on. And so I don't mind deficit spending if you would see where it's going. and understand that later on you're going to reap the dividends for that.
And I think people need to understand when you have a deficit, the gap that is left, that gap is filled by borrowing and future revenue. I cannot foresee any future revenue right now. So the only thing that seems reasonable to me is that we might be in a position or forced to be in a position that we have to borrow more.
Well, we're already doing it. If you were able to tally up all those loans that we went for the new hospital, for geothermal, for all kind of things, a lot of things, other things, a lot of loans we went for.
And the thing about it, again, if the deficit was there, it's there. If the deficit, you see it there, and you realize that there was a reduce when it comes to the pressure of the cost of living.
Mm-hmm.
So government has to put in more monies because they're trying to make the households feel more comfortable. But that is not happening here. The cost of living is still very high. The average man and woman feeling the squeeze.
I know some persons might, find an eyebrow, bash your eyelash at we talking about budgets and whatnot. But let me remind you, right? Gently remind you guys how important this is. I am old enough to remember 2010. That was the year when VAT was introduced in the same kits. We were in such a bad state that we had to go to the IMF, and the government had to tighten the belt so tight that as teachers, you can't get a register, you can't get a chalk, you can't even get toilet paper. I, as a teacher, had to carry my own resources.
That was under Labor
Administration. They froze salaries. You couldn't get no kind of increments. Y'all remember that? Is that too far ago? Remember that. And we are going back down that path. So even when they're talking about a give increase after the freeze, look at opportunity we lost along the way.
And the thing about it, Kyle, usually when you look at the deficit too, if it's justified by food, health, housing, jobs, then people say, okay, then that's where the money going. But where's the money going? You see, the going back in salaries. At one town hall meeting, there was a supporter of the Labour Party in the town hall meeting telling Drew, bill, because obviously he has not seen things being built.
Yeah.
And if you look at the capital expenditure, it's actually less this year.
For housing, yes.
It's actually less. So one has to ask the question, if it's less this year, does that mean that the best years for Labour are in the past? And the worst is yet to come?
It's a low bar, even in the past. But if it dig further down into the budget for housing, one of the bulk of the budget goes towards the East Street housing project and the West Street housing project. And then there's a 8 million just for housing, generic housing. So tell me, everybody in St. live East Street, West Street? So only them you focusing on? Nobody else want any house? No, you couldn't. The Labour Party will never beat the allegations with the 2,400 houses. They will never beat that because they can't produce it. They will never beat it. The other day I heard you trying some trick there. You say, yeah, man, we building 2,000 houses because we do this for national banks. If you go to national bank, that's part of it. You go to that's part of it. You go to energy, that's part of it. That's a bold-faced lie. That's not always promised with the East Coast project. That's not always promised.
Yes.
Always promised was we could see 2,400 houses at the end of their first year. We could see them. And now we're trying to gaslight us to say, yeah, man, this is the same time when he gave the 0.5 the thing on top, when he increased by 5%, that's a double too. All these semantics with words and things.
But the overall capital expenditure has been reduced in 2026. In 2025, the capital expenditure was approximately $209 million. Currently, under what Drew has in 2026, it's $166.99 million. That is a drop by roughly 20%. So it is a decrease of about $42 million. And I you know what? I want this to register. Imagine we asking Dr. Drew, where's the money for the capital projects? Where aren't we seeing capital projects? Where's the money? Because you have allocated money, we expect that the capital projects will be going. But if he has decreased the expenditure for capital budget, and we can't see one capital project yet, that means I'm coming right now.
No, I really wish, I always said, I really wish that Drew had someone who knows economics to really advise him. Because any economist would tell you, even in high school, when they taught in high school, it would tell you, in order to get the economy churning, going, you need government spending. You need government spending. So you need capital projects. That's how money enters the economy and circulates the economy. Could you imagine if you got a nice big, let's say Boston was building right now. You know how much construction man got some money in the pocket? For the guy and they told me they'll bang a drink. So much of them banging drinks, told people I say, okay, breweries I want more drinks. Breweries have to make more drinks, pay more people. That's what the economy rolls. So if you're cutting back on capital expenditure, it means that you are pulling back on spending and you're only going to starve the country further. And so this doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand. That means you're not investing in the government. But I am not surprised to a certain degree because, again, when you look at the audit report, projects are in limbo under this government. Projects are just in limbo, just they in progress, just dead, nothing to do. You look through the budget, even for Bastille High, they had 37 million budgeted for Bastille High. The only plan to spend must be what, 2 million or some small million they're planning to spend this year, right? 3 million, right? 3 million they're planning to spend in no, hold on. Yeah, 5 million expect to spend this year. That'll give you a whole school. So you know the school ain't finishing this year. If you start at all.
And that's the thing, when you look at the budget too, the Ministry of Finance gets the lion's share. It actually gets an increase. The office of the Prime Minister still remains one of the largest offices or ministries that get monies allocated to it. But when you look at agriculture, I know Samuel Duggins was tooting about 25 by 25 agenda.
Really got so 25 by 25 plus 5.
But I don't know if Dr. Drew misinterpreted what Samuel was doing. Because I believe that the 25 by 25 agenda had to do with reduction of the imports, right?
That's the plan. That was the plan.
But to me, Dr. Drew gave Samuel Duggins on the agriculture a 25% reduction in the monies allocated to him. So, I am wondering.
Honestly, you're being generous because if you look at the capital projects, it's actually almost 50% reduction. Because last year it was 14 million, and this year it was 50 million last year round up, and it's 7 million this year round up. 7 million. So you cut agriculture capital expenditure by 50%. And you want to come tell us that food security is a pillar of your sustainable island state. Food security, And you know where the bulk of the money is supposed to go? Tabasco project. So how is that going to help food security?
You see, you're talking about the capital expenditure aspect. But when you look at it on a whole, and I see your point and I agree with you, because you want that starting capital to do more. But when you look at the ministry on a whole, in 2025, agriculture got EC 19.4 million. In 2026, 14.6 million. So Dr. Joe probably maybe hasn't have any faith in Samuel Duggins to manage such money. So he say, you know what, we're going to reduce you by $4.8 million.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest here. Imagine that the budget overall, for 2025 estimates was 33 million. 33 million overall, recurrent plus capital, 33 million. And they cut that to 21 this year. No faith, no confidence in the man. The man got no confidence in Samuel Duggins. And you could see because he slashed the budget so drastically. You have faith in the man? You can't have faith in the man.
He probably said this is tough times. And he does not have the faith to give money where money is necessary because he don't feel like that minister can handle the money that is allocated to him.
But it has been proven true. Because again, when you look at the audit report, imagine agriculture got only spent 50%, roughly 50% of the allocated monies. So imagine I allocating all this money to you, I ain't doing nothing with it. And any sensible person in government knows if you carry back in money next year, they're gonna give you less. Because they're gonna say you know do nothing with it.
But he ain't doing nothing in agriculture.
That's the whole
That's the
point.
thing. He has not
Yeah.
been doing anything in agriculture. And even look at the times. There was a tractor issue whereby I am told reliably that there were 2 drivers who came upon retirement, and now during the time where farmers need the tractors, they don't buy 2 because there was no contingency plan. And that's the short-sightedness of the man.
Oh, yes.
No contingency plan.
You know, I laugh, you know, when somebody competent bad. So, because of the tractor issue, today I had come out now. The man driving the tractor. Oh, look, we're back. Tractor ready now. Like, this is what? The 22nd, or 21st, 22nd of January.
Yeah.
Farmers were planting 2-3 weeks ago. So now we got big ad now. Look at us. Come register now to get your land plow. That man is just all about PR, just about show, and no substance. Someone got no substance. The man just shallow.
And the thing about it, the agricultural sector is a sector that needed money injected into it to boost the economy. We need to start to look at diversifying our economy and looking at agriculture seriously to ensure that, one, we could provide our own food, so we could reduce the cost of food, because locally grown food would be, if done correctly, at a cheaper price at the market than if you have to look at the imports.
Yeah, right now, local food is cheaper. It is cheaper. You go in any supermarket, you compare it, it is cheaper. But it's just that because they're not getting the support they need, they can't produce on that level that they need to produce at. It is cheaper.
And you would think that these ministers would try to develop a budget that would supplement and grow the economy. But no ideas. They are at a loss when it comes to ideas, innovation. I'm terribly disappointed.
You know what's very startling though? If you dig through the budget, I did it already. If you dig through the budget for agriculture, there's this project called the Agricultural Support Budget. Almost every ministry have a version of that, where you put a certain amount of money aside to facilitate certain small projects during the year, that kind of thing, you know, inputs, that kind of thing. You want something come up, you put it aside. Then man slash that thing there from what it was 14 million or something down to like 3 this year. Like slash it, which means that there's no support. No, sorry, it's 750,000, right? They slash it, so there's no support base really there for farmers. Like, this ain't even a joke. There's no support there for farmers.
And that's the thing. When you look at it, when you look at agriculture and the cuts made in agriculture in this budget, this is one of the sharpest percentage cuts. 25%, you know, 25% of the agriculture budget was cut when you look at it 2025 to 2026. So if and it makes me wonder. And that's why when we look at it, election time, we had the last election in 2022. Persons are thinking that, you know, election could be in 2026. But I am wondering, if it is in 2026, based on a budget like this, what are they going to impress the people of St. Kitts and Nevis with? What are they going to campaign on? Well, maybe they might call it, because then the subsequent budget is going to be even worse.
It's gonna be worse, yeah. It's gonna be worse for sure.
It's like you're rolling down a hill, and it's like the momentum building. You're going fast down that hill, fast down in debt, as you spoke on the IMF said that we're looking at almost 70% by 2030.
And it doesn't seem as though this trend is going to end anytime soon. I mean, when you listen to Drew's presentation, Drew just gloss over it, you know? Oh, we don't got a deficit this year. Just gloss over it. Ain't said nothing now, just under his breath. You could barely hear him mention it. Because you understand how, I believe it was shame. Maybe shame. Right? Because I understand that nothing is doing in the economy. And then the only new income generator, revenue generator that I was pointing out was the MRI. which is out of people's pocket again, right? Now we mentioned that the Prime Minister's office. How much you said they got this year?
Prime Minister's office got about 60, I think it was 69 million.
Yeah.
69 million. Yes. $69.3 million.
So if we dig deeper into that, you'll see that they're expected to spend some 19 or 20 million on the elevate. Elevate.
Mhm.
What is elevate? Like what encompasses elevate at the Warriors 20 million? What is really going on there? Because I mean to show I have no idea what elevate entails. And that's a lot of money to dedicate to a project. What is it? I don't see. I would like to see the breakdown of it to see exactly where the money is spent, that kind of stuff. I'm just confused. Because all this money coming to the Prime Minister's office, but yet I'm not seeing what the breakdown as the way it's going to be spent. So, like I said, this budget has left me so disappointed. And even reading through it, they said they have pillars for sustainable island state. They say food security is one. They say housing is one. Some other public housing is one. When you check the budget, all them things they cut. So agriculture cut, housing that cut.
That's the exact reason why I'm saying they're boasting about the houses that they are building. They're boasting about all sorts of things that they're doing. But when they have such a cut in the budget for this year, and it's less money being spent in certain key areas, it makes me believe that the best times of labor have passed. And if those are the best times, when we have considered it the worst of times, imagine what is to come.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, it's a catch-22, eh? Because based on this budget, we want them to spend more. We don't get from because they ain't doing nothing to generate revenue in the economy. Nothing. They're sucking money out of the economy. They increase salary, they travel, all they're sucking money out of the economy. They're not pumping nothing back into the economy. So it's only going to get worse from here.
And Dr. Drew talked about while he was in opposition about having investors
lined up. Why? I remember that.
Knocking on your door. So where are they now? Where are they now when they are most needed?
Oh my goodness. They might be just talk. You should just watch where you say something, because when you come into the position, you realize, okay, inside you go, but talk a big game, but nothing doing. Because if you look at the projects and whatnot, a lot of them are leftovers. You know, project going on for 3-4 years. So if you had all these investors line up, where do you need projects? Why come the projects down? Where do you need projects at?
Mm-hmm.
So that means you're lying then. Talking about you had all these investors line up. Show me the new projects that are coming on stream. Can't find none. Had all kind of talk about hotel. I ain't see nothing coming. All kind of talk about this, that, and whatever. Everything soon come. So the talk is cheap. Talk is cheap.
And while he talks, there's little or no action. And families are hurting. The average man and woman in St. Kitts and Nevis, they are trying to maintain their households.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the presentation by the parliamentarian for the People's Action Movement, just doing a simple grocery shopping coming up to $700. And that is the reality that we're facing. We are not seeing Dr. Drew and Labour actually coming up with ideas to help buttress the enormous cost of living. We're not seeing ideas that would assist our brothers and sisters, our citizens, to live a more comfortable life. Dr. Drew and Labour living their best lives. Mm-hmm. They increased the salary, as you have said, and as we know. They've increased the salary. In fact, Dr. Drew, if I'm not mistaken, is the only Prime Minister I have seen on coming into office, moving out of the house that he owns to occupy somewhere else.
You know, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, I mean, most of the other prime ministers stayed in their in their areas, right? Gotta have many of the people, yeah. Right? And so, even as you mentioned, Dr. Joe, what saddens me is that this Labour Party, they lack vision. They have no vision because you're going to tell you, oh well, he learned a new word, right? It's imported inflation. So we can't do nothing about it. It's imported inflation. In 2014, now 2024 budget presentation, Sean laid out so many ideas how to ease our pain. So many ideas how to ease the people pain. And just how Sean did that presentation in that December, trust me, in January, things gone up further, Price gone up. I just shop every week. Price has gone up further. So even the checklist that he listed last year ain't applicable now because everything gone up. And you're gonna sit there and say, well, I'm gonna take it. He feel like he wallet boost or something. He felt like reducing VAT for this a little bit of time, 6 months or something. Mark Batley tell him, look here, we start in Nevis when we reduced the VAT, things didn't really change in terms of receipts. So keep the VAT lower. He come back and say, oh, well, maybe things didn't change over in Nevis, but he's saying these things change. Right? But he's not seeing what Batley was explaining. That if persons have more disposable income, they're going to spend more. And so you're going to gain more on volume alone. Just volume alone. That is why we need to get rid of this whole idea that only doctors, medical doctors, feel like they want to be prime minister. We got to get rid of that idea. Because Drew, you might be good in that lane. But when it comes to finance, when it comes to economics, accounting, you have been weighed, you have been measured, and you've been found severely wanting. You have no clue what you're doing, and nobody around you have a clue. Samuel Lass, Joel and the moan about environment and hugging trees. What's his name? Conway is what? Engineer, Diane to do business. Jeffrey, just pick again around the place. I don't know. But for the most part, none of them have any idea. And the advisors, what was Edinburgh's job before? I don't know. But he act like he's an economist, a talk.
But he don't act like he's a lawyer to Kyle.
Like everything, man, like we don't understand. No, you lane. That's not your. And if you don't like your advisors, Joe, you're in trouble. Well, I already seen it. You can't be in trouble already because those are your advisors. What is about economics?
But when you look at it, Dr. Joe has given less to health this year too, So healthcare funding is less. So you know what that means? More out-of-pocket expenses.
Oh my goodness.
Dr. Joe has cut and given little priority to the areas that need it the most. Agriculture, health and social security reduce. When you look at the budget allocated for youth, small businesses, far less than you would expect. This is not a prime minister with a vision. This is a prime minister that only cares about maintaining his own self.
But here's the thing that's very troubling. What is very troubling is that I don't think that they take the budget serious. They don't. Because in the previous years, after the budget would have been debated and whatnot, they end up with all kind of different amendments, the chuck in money there. So things might be actually worse than the budget letting on. Because I think it was last time they had to supplement with like $300 million. Like if you're doing a household budget and it's so far off, something got to be wrong with the process. Something got to be wrong with those who are running the numbers. Because you're not factoring in most of the important things. And so even though they presented this budget, as I think Tim said in the house, this ain't the real budget. They're making a mockery of the budget system because it's far worse. Come next year or the report, you're going to hear how much extra money they spent. Just like the $27 million they gave Marriott. Just like that. Here, Marriott, take that. With no interest, nothing. These are the kind of things that they're adding up next year. So even though they might cut, it is far worse because it's not a true reflection of what the money they're going to spend this year. So brace yourselves for what is to come.
And we will keep you posted. The program Unfiltered, we are here, we are speaking on the issue, the national issues, because we believe that people matter most. And as we close tonight, let me leave the country with this. The 2026 budget is not just about a set of figures. It is a statement of priorities. This government chose to run a deficit, but did not choose to run a people-first deficit. Capital spending went down. Agriculture cut. Health reduced. Yet central government was protected. When food prices are rising, agriculture should grow, not shrink. When families are struggling with medical costs, health should be strengthened, not squeezed. When communities need roads, housing, and opportunity, capital investment should increase, not fall. Deficits are not free. They always come back in higher costs, weaker services, or debt passed on to the next generation. Leadership is about reducing pressure on the people, not managing it at the center. The people of this country are asking, the people of this country are not asking for miracles. They are asking for fairness, honesty, and priorities that reflect their daily reality. We will continue to question, we will continue to speak plainly, and we will continue to stand up for the people without fear and without filter. This has been Unfiltered.
Lord, this can end in a serious dilemma. Now that the country been run by labor, this pure mayhem, scandal, disorder. With this Labour Party in power, is this a social club in disguise? Or some kind of criminal enterprise? What a menace to society this administration turning out to be. The PM got a so-called advisor, telling people how to get away with murder. It's non-stop attack on the treasury with paper daddy and man sorry. This Labour bunch shot to the core, lacking integrity, that's for sure. Economists down hard life crippling, we a collective menace, menace to society. It's like it's all cheap and no Indian. It's like lunatics running the asylum without a plan, ideas or structure. It's the people who left to suffer. No pop, no peace, bare unemployment. No money for bills, much less enjoyment. Total advantage, that's we fake under these enemies of the state. AAG, can he get lawyer? He really a plumber, playing labor, turn politician now for sure. Going from door to door in number 4, law and order not a priority. No one in charge of the nation's safety. DAD join the cult of the greedy. We just a menace to society. Government buildings, well them the worst. We infrastructure seem like it costs. Electricity and water up with the moon. Every month you hear the fix coming soon. Under labor life for this pure misery. Oppression, depression and tyranny. This gang is a menace to society. Life in SKN, this ain't no joke. Like the whole country going up in smoke. While Mr. Smiley and 10 money one busy fighting, jockeying for position. Lord have mercy upon all of we with this menace to society.